Welcome to this pool play game in the women's division at the Summer Tour in Chambéry. We will see Buff from Belgium playing against Tequila Boom Boom from Italy. Interestingly, this is essentially the game to go for the wild card because this women's pool is only playing a round robin, and Tequila Boom Boom is currently up in the seeding, and Wolf has also 4 games. Both of them have so far a clean record, and if the next round that is taking place after this is going the way we expect it to, the team that wins this game will get the coveted wild card to play for sure in the EUCF in Ostende. My name's Mara Trapp. I'm very excited for this game to start momentarily. We've had quite a bit of delay today, partly due to the Tequila Boom Boom team themselves, because they had a very, very long game earlier on this pitch. If you're interested, please do watch it again. Against Shark from Barcelona. As you can see, the weather conditions are currently very cloudy and only 21 degrees Celsius. Not that much noticeable wind, so quite good conditions to play Ultimate. We have the poll starting. Great offensive effort so far. Unlucky, but that gives already the first break chance of the game. This game is supposed to be very, very, very close. So with their first break chance in this game, up the line, and they've almost made it to the end zone. Another great upline cut. And their score in the far end corner for the first break. What a great start to this incredible game. That was Marijke Jordans to Lois Kopians for the first score of the game. And another great pole. Fielded well by Tequila Boom Boom, immediately moving the disc up the field. Grossi with the disc. Great cut up the line. And Grossi gets the disc back, currently almost every second pass back to her. Tequila moving it up the middle of the pitch and back to the middle. And what an impressive layout D by Wolf, giving them the second break chance of the game. Great break to start us off. And the hack is going up, and we have two people under it. Well read by the Wolf player. And just resetting it back and into the end zone for another score. Los Copians again to Delphine Osters. So far, great pressure from the match defense from the Belgium team. But we can also see that Tequila Boom Boom is very capable of getting the disc where they want it to go through the middle and using that space. And another pull fielded well by Tequila Boom Boom. Moving it to midfield already. Grossi back with the disc. Caught well by Oscari. And it's up. Can she get there? Unfortunately, no. It's slightly too far, but there's a foul call on the throw. So the disc might be going back. Martinini called the foul. So this is going back. This is being checked in, and here we go again. Great upline cut, and then almost into the, and now into the end zone. That's the first score for Tequila Boom Boom. Ariana Pagliani to Giulia Merli. Bringing the score to 2-1. Overall, the Tequila Boom Boom side is extremely young. I believe about 80% of their players are less than 20, and most of them even less than 18 years old. Extremely impressive to see this level of elite ultimate from such a young side. A lot of them have experience on the juniors national teams. Wolf also has a couple of very young players on their roster, but overall their age average is slightly higher. Let's see if that level of experience is paying out this time, or if the youngsters just have more fire and more energy that they can bring to this game in the long run. And the pull going up. This run down well by Tequila Boom Boom to set up a zone. With playing well to play over the cup, moving the disc from the near to the far side and back quite quickly. And an unfortunate drop gives Tequila Boom Boom their first break chance of the game. But it immediately goes back to Wolf. And the disc is going up and it's far at the sideline. Can they reel it in? No. Unfortunately, it's going out. And then Tequila has another chance. Unfortunately, it's a slight overthrow. I'm not entirely sure what the stoppage was, but the disc is going to be checked in. There might have been an injury call downfield. A great grab to keep that disc alive. To Ascari. And another great grab. But I believe there was a travel call. Good defensive pressure by Wolf, but Tequila using the space they have. Grossi gets the disc back, shoots it to the open side. And a hammer over the top for the score. That was Lucrezia Grossi to Giulia Merli, again putting Merli for the second score on the scoreboard, and the first break from Tequila Boom Boom, making the score even. Lucrezia Grossi being one of those juniors of the Tequila side, Boom Boom side, only 19 years old, has played in the last couple of years in various iterations of Italia youth teams, including this year's U20 performance in Birmingham. And the pole is going up. Of having some time to keep the disc already moving before the Italian zone is set up properly. And a bite's going up, and they can collect it in the end zone. That's another score for Wolf. The first clean hold of the game. Lois Kopians to Axel van der Velde. Lois Kopians, because there are two of them in this team, has been involved in every score so far for the Belgian side. Lois has also inspired her youngest, is only 18 years old, and has inspired her younger sister, who is also playing on this team, to join it and join Ultimate. And it's another great pull. Retwell. Back to Grossi. Unfortunately, it's overthrown, but well read by, I believe, Anscari as a second effort to get that disc and keep it alive. Moving it to the near side, great inside throw, and a score for the Italian side. Asia Mantinini to Laura Briolini. And there's a timeout called. With the score even 3-3, I will take a break and come back immediately. Pull going up. A great pull, but fielded well. Tequila again setting up in a zone, and we're moving the disc quickly through the handlers. And that was a great run through D by Martinini. Highly quick reaction to keep it in Tequila's hands. Difficult reset, but she can get there with a layout to keep the disc. And the disc is going up in lots of space. They have time to catch it comfortably. That's another score for Tequila and their second break in the game. Ariana Pergliani to Giulia Merli. Giulia Merli now with 3 goals on the board. That makes the game back on serve, having both breaks. Both teams have broken twice, which puts it back to what the original position is, and Tequila and Boom Boom in the lead for the first time in the game. For those interested in the ranking algorithm predicted a draw for this game. So let's hope it keeps as exciting as it has been in the first couple of points. Post coming a bit short and caught easily, almost at the midfield line. Lady over the top, and really nice second effort to catch that disc properly. But with again comfortable moving it up the field through the grace, and an easy. It looked like an easy pass into the end zone, leading a nice leading pass. Must have been slightly too far for it to be collected properly. That gives another break chance to Tequila Boom Boom. Disc is back in. A very low throw, but expertly collected, and again put up into space to get almost to the end zone line already. And then moving it quickly, resetting the disc. There's a call. There seems to have been some collision between those two players. So the play is stopped. It seems like it's an accepted foul based on the hand signals. But it is possible that the disc is just going to stay, and it's going to be checked in where it is right now. Great mark by Desmond, but the disc is put into space and collected well in the end zone. Again by Julia Merli for the 3-5. That means we already have a 3-point run from Tequila now with the third break of the game, turning the tables from the first 2 points. After seeming a little bit frazzled or tired from like the previous really intense game, coming into this one, they've collected themselves after the timeout, and they've collected themselves quite expertly and have reduced a lot of their early errors in the first 2 points. Another good pull. Billy Flows could be on with the disc, moving it to the sideline. And a throw into the middle and to the end zone, and that's another score. Silicon North to Lois Copians. We've really refocused their game to what the efficiency they had in the first 2 points. Once they had the offensive possession in those, they've managed to keep calm and focused, and they've done it again. Here's another timeout. Going to be ready for the pole. It's a somewhat shorter one, but well. And the disc is going up. Can they get to it in the end zone? Yes, they can. That was the quickest score so far in this game. From Lucrezia Gorsi to Giulia Meli again, making it 4-6. Those two have a great connection so far in this game, and in general, Giulia is a very safe target for the Italian side, having caught 5 out of the 6 goals in this game. Giulia is only 22 years old and has only started playing 1.5 years ago. So really impressive cutting patterns by her. Very low pole that's going to crash over the ground a little bit. Really difficult to read that in, but Despill does it well. Through the middle. Desmond back to the handlers. Up to the far sideline. And then they're moving it through the handler space again. The Italian zone slightly slowing down. Therefore, this is the intention of this type of zone. Very comfortable just moving it horizontally until they find a solution upfield. Despy inching up ever further and creating a lot of space immediately over the end zone line. That was a great play. Peter Despiel to Julian Cieli, number 91 to 52. The Belgian women here displaying what's the easiest approach of beating this type of containment zone by just being calm until you have a really good option upfield. And especially great spacing by Peter Despiel, who is also only 16 years old. Moving the disc horizontally as long as you need to until you have the space to gain the meters that you would like. This is a very short ball, almost shortly over the midfield line. Picked up by Palinari. And back to Palinari. And back to Grossi. Martinini to the far sideline, but that throws slightly too far. Giving Wolf a first break chance in a while to make this even. Great cover for the cutter space, but a great upline. Unfortunately, disc is slightly too high and immediately moving it towards the attacking end zone. Moving it up the far sideline, resetting it, and it's back with Grossi. Grossi now every second disc. Really high catch from Grossi, going up field on the open side, and then a great fake and throw to the end zone for another score for the Italian O-line. Asia Martinini to Laura Biolini again, making the score 5-7. So we've almost made it to a halftime. This game is moving on quite quickly. So far, points have been very short, and except for one of them that was 5 minutes on. So we're 35 minutes into the game, having the normal time 35 minutes left. A great pull, well done by Dispel again. We're almost to the middle line. Italians are putting slight bit more pressure on the handlers than they were previously, succeeding in pushing them slightly further back. And that pressure results in a turn and giving Tequila Boom Boom their 6th break chance of the game. Great defensive pressure by Wolf, but Tequila Boom Boom using the break side quite expertly. Moving it up the far sideline. There's a call against Martinini prior to this throw. But the disc stays, so I'm not entirely sure what happened. Martinini going to the upside and then a huck going up, but by the lack of excitement on the pitch, the disc must have been too far, so it's another turn, and Wolf getting another chance. of setting up in a horizontal stack, and 3 people needing to go to that disc. But everyone stays on the pitch. Great job by Briolini to get to that defense. And the disc is up and reeled in. Good job by Ariana Ascari. The throw was from Giola Meali, which means we're now at halftime with a scoreline of 8-5 and 4-2 breaks for Tequila Boom Boom. Both of these teams have been, according to the ranking yesterday, on this ranking-wise 18th and 19th place, which would place them outside of the potential bids to go to EUCF. So the only guaranteed way for them to play is through winning this game to win the wild card at this summer tour. So we'll hopefully see Wolf returning to some of their initial defensive pressure to create more break opportunities. So far, they've been very successful in converting break opportunities. So out of 3 break chances, they've converted 2, but those also have been the first 2 points of the game. So they need to step up some of that defensive pressure that they've had. Now that Tequila Boom Boom has found their stride into this game. Good second effort to keep that disc alive. Great separation downfield, but the handlers are moving it amongst each other. Desmond to Copiance. Back to Despiel for score. Peter Despiel to Delphine Ostis for 6-9. That's 6-8. I cannot count. It's another very short pull, but the advantage is that you can set up your defense exactly how you want it to. The disc is going up. That might have not been how the defense wanted to set it up, but the throw is slightly too far anyway, giving them the fourth break chance in the game. Difficult throw to catch, but expertly done so. Moving it slightly forward. We're now moving it with very short give and go passes down the far sideline, back to the middle, and then run through D by, I believe, Martinini. So now this is, and puts it into the space for her teammate, who unfortunately can't catch it properly. It seems like the rain is picking up, making it a lot harder to catch discs, even if you're completely free. Trapped on the far sideline, but managed to move it to the center of the pitch quite easily into the open space. And putting it up, and there's another score and another break from Axel van der Velde to Lois Kopians. Axel van der Velde, prior to this game, the stats leader for the Belgian women's team with 18 points on the scoreboard. 16 of those are assists, and now she's added the first one to it in this round. Great throw to keep the disc moving. But also good coverage for the reset handler from the Belgian side. And a stall-out call accepted immediately. So the disc is going to be checked in. It is supposed to be checked in by the new defense, but they seem to have agreed that that solution is also acceptable. Going up the line, Axel van der Velde puts it up there, but can't be collected by her teammates because Italian player gets to it first. It looks like the rain is picking up. Great work by the Italians to get the disc moving as quickly as they could. Already almost at midfield. Bagliarani with the disc. Collected well by Grossi. Put into the middle. Ascari with the disc. Collected well by Martinini. They're moving it in the middle as long as they can, and now putting it out there, but it's slightly too far for Martinini to collect it in the end zone. This is another break chance, making it possible that we can get back on serve for Wolf. But that disc is too high and floating backwards, so it's back with Grossi. Great defensive pressure in the mark and immediately running deep, but it's not used by. Great effort to keep the disc alive. There's a discussion about whether it's up or down. But it's considered to be up, so the disc stays alive, and it's going up. But it is not slightly far enough for the Belgians to collect it. So it's back with the Italian O-line. I believe it's Grossi picking up the disc at the far sideline. Immediately cutting into the reset space. The disc is too high and a block by the Belgians. Moving it down on the near sideline. Back to Peter Dispiel. Up the line again to Van der Velde, who puts it out there. Can she collect it? Yeah. Unfortunately, also that disc is sailing slightly too far. You can, based on the raindrops, the wind is also going slightly into that direction, making the disc move a little bit further than you anticipated. Great defensive cover. So the disc is forced to be thrown downfield, but can't connect. And another break chance. Collected at the far side, under pressure, moving it into slightly back. And putting it up there. Can she collect it in the end zone? Yes, she can. But there's a discussion on the pitch. I'm not sure what the call is. But if it's not resolved soon, the disc is most likely going back and we're just resetting the game. That's often the solution to a call, and at that point, a very reasonable one. A contested call is not bad spirit, it's just what the rules tell you to do in case you can't resolve it quickly. In most instances, the intent of the rules is to rather resolve a call quickly and slightly wrong than finding always the best and truest outcome, which is very difficult anyway, as people have different perspectives, and both of those perspectives can be objectively what they thought and experienced. So disc is going back to the sideline. And putting far upfield and collected by the Belgians. That was a difficult catch to maintain. Putting it out there, there are lots of people under it, but it's never coming back inbounds. But there's also a foul call on the throw. It looks like an accepted foul call, so the disc should be coming back in on 1. Everyone resetting to where they were when the disc was thrown. Great mark by Martinini, but they managed to get the disc moving anyway. Upfield and on the far sideline again, putting it into the end zone, but a great defensive jump by the Italians to make sure that this throw does not connect in the end zone. The disc's going up, and there's no discussion on it. That looks like a clean point block. This is coming in on the end zone cone for the Belgians. Everyone is in the end zone. And they carry it in for another break. Peter Dispiel to Axel van der Velde. Making it 8-8. The game is even. We have an even amount of break scores so far, which just gives Tequila Boom Boom the slight edge of started on offense in the beginning. So if they manage to now trade points for the rest of the game, that would put Tequila Boom Boom on top and destined to win the wild card here in Chambry. But Wolf has put on a 3-point run so far, getting 2 breaks in a row after scoring on offense. That is the longest amount of points they've scored in a row in this game so far. So we'll see if they can keep this pressure up for maybe another break. It's seems like the weather has cleared up a bit, which is going to make it more comfortable to play. Pole lengths slightly in bounce already. Grossi with the disc. Great cut here in the middle. Just well put into space for Grossi, who immediately hucks it deep. Can the defender catch up? No, unfortunately, disc is slightly too far. That's another break chance for Wolf. Tequila setting up in a zone defense again. Pressuring a difficult high throw into the own end zone, but with meeting that challenge, moving it slightly out and again back. Another great grab to keep it alive, moving it forward. And a give and go. The disc is up and she can catch it in, moving it to the middle. And another high release throw, but unfortunately can't be caught. And the disc is immediately up with two people under it, but it is a little bit too far and too much trust into their cutters knowing exactly where they're supposed to be going. So disc is back with Wolf. Pushing Wolf into their own end zone is a great defensive effort by an O-line. And challenging that throw, making sure there's no continuation possible in that direction. So we're moving slightly backwards again, or horizontally. Over the top. Great grab to keep it alive and immediately hucking it. It's a slightly too short, making it very hard for the cutter to catch the disc. It's another chance, but the disc is slipping out of it and slight on the ground, giving Wolf the first chance in this half of the pitch in this game, in this point. And they're putting it up, and they have four people under it, and one of them is the eventual receiver, Naomi Knowles to Lois Copiance. That is putting Wolf back up on top, leading for the first time in the second half with 9-8. They've gone on an impressive run to catch up to make it even in 8-8, and now they're back on top for the first time. There's a timeout called, presumably by Tequila Boom Boom. And I will be back after this timeout is over. Great pull by the Belgians and also impressive rundown to stop the immediate continuation and the pull play. But well reeled in by the Italian cutter. A lot of traffic on that far side. And impressive defensive effort and a great run through D by the Belgians. Could be 46 Fille della Notte. Well read by the Italian defense. Great fake. And discus up on a high stall count in a weird angle, unfortunately not connected to receiver. So that's another break chance for Wolf, almost at the brick mark. Putting out there, well collected by Copiance. Again, a score from Naomi Knowles to Los Copiance for 10-8, putting in a 2-score lead, something they've only had in the first 2 points of the game. But we also know that Tequila Boom Boom has managed to come back from those original 2-point leads. So I wouldn't discount them just yet. Another relatively short pull. I mean, going to the brick mark, expected it's slightly shorter, but that is unfortunately drop. And a timeout called by Wolf. Their first timeout. The second timeout in this half. Games are played to either 15 as the hard cap or 70 minutes as the soft cap. Then we will finish the point and add 1 and adjust the attempted target as we are now within 69 seconds for the last score. That means we'll finish this point as there's no way that we're not reaching the 70-minute mark here. So we'll finish this point and then add 1 for the new target to win. with setting up an advanced stack. Tequila Boom still setting up more or less in their zone with a very, very poached defense on those cutters, but that has been effective in the past, so we'll see if they can stop the flow here too. Reset is a given here, but North with the disc again. And a run through defense by, I believe, Martinini. Ascari with the disc. Back to Grossi. Grossi's putting it up, and a very, very high and floaty disc, and can be collected in the end zone for another score. That's the first score for the Italians in the second half. But because they had an 8-5 lead in the first half, that just means they're now within 1. Lucrezia Grossi to Lucia Negroni. Lucia Negroni being a very influential player when it comes to the scoreboard. Previously to this game, she had already racked up 7 assists and 5 scores, 5 goals. This is the first point she has scored in this game. And another great pole by the Italians. Setting up in their zone again. The zone is pressuring almost every throw, making it necessary to throw over the cup the way the Belgians just did to move upfield. And now moving it into the middle to Desmet. Desmet back to Dispiel. Putting it over the top to Copians. And back to Dispiel. Putting it high up the sideline. Copians collecting easily. To Dispiel. Dispiel for the assist. So that's 11-9. Peter Dispiel to Lois Copians. That is the winning score as we've only playing to 11. Congratulations to Wolf for winning this more or less final in the summer tour here in Chambry. Stick around for our next game between the open final between Quixotes and One Tribe. That is also a game for the wild card to qualify for EUCF. And if you haven't had enough of Ultimate yet. There are many other games going on at various different places around the continent. Games in the Open Division in Heilbronn and Trnava. There are mixed games taking place in Warsaw and Freiburg, and we're also streaming from somewhere else. So if you haven't had enough, stick around and watch more Ultimate, and especially stick around for the very exciting Open Final here directly in Chambéry. I've been Maritrap. Thank you and goodbye. Into the void. See you soon.